Wow, it's been a minute. I think I did one video after my surgery. I can't even remember. I think I did. That's probably it. Yeah, I haven't really had access to my living room the way that I used to. I just think there's too many people, too many schedules, just floating all around. Um, I figured I would just come up here because there was something I wanted to just quickly share. So I say quickly, but it's one of those things that it took me a really long time to arrive to. And you know me, I'm not the most succinct person with words, but I'm going to do my best to just boil it down. Um, I think, regardless of whether or not you've done like quote unquote good or bad things in your life, I think most of us live with an aim of not harming people around us, like sometimes inadvertently, on accident, or just kind of thoughtlessly we'll do something and then the consequences implode and get much larger than we thought they could. That's just, I think, the human experience a lot of the time. But I still think the majority of us live in such a way that we're not, trying to make things worse than they already are. Like, we try to be like quote unquote good people and, put the grocery cart back with the other grocery carts and park in the lines when we park in our parking spot. And we try to adhere to things and not cause damage that doesn't have to be caused, I would say, for the most part. And for a long time I thought that that was enough, and I thought that the most I had to offer other people was whatever they asked me to offer them. And so um, I would kind of give of myself and of my energy, my physical, mental capacity, without really thinking about what I was or wasn't saying yes to. And sometimes there was yeses that like I wanted to say yes, but I knew it wasn't the right time or I didn't really have the extra to give. And at the end of the day, when I would exert myself on those things, I had this whole set of gifts in my lap, these things that are uniquely given to me in this body and this person and this experience and this time that exists, like things that only I can do in such a way. And I would neglect to develop those things because I was just doing what I felt like I like quote unquote should do. Or, and this was the real kicker for me, this is where I really started having to kind of pull back the layers on this whole concept, is there were a few key moments where the Lord called me to just like a really specific, usually very small, seemingly, obedience in various scenarios. And so the one that really woke me up was, sorry, I'm like looking at the time. There was a family friend of ours. These two people were basically like somewhere between aunt and grandparent to me and my sister growing up, just always around, very sweet, very kind. And the husband was sick and actively passing away, and at least like right to the point that we knew that was kind of the next step in what was going to happen for him. And I just honestly by chance ended up being in Florida when this was happening. I normally was in Nashville for college or, various things. And so I just happened to be in town, happened to be stopping by their home because I think my childhood dog was staying with them for a few days and we were going to pick him up. And I was like super tired. I was basically like sleeping in the car. My mom was driving. We walk inside and I see him, and I just felt like the Lord was like, I just want you to pray with him for peace, Lexi. And like nowadays, that would have been like, yeah, Lord, like absolutely, would have just gone and done it. But the me that existed at this period of time was just like, it was terrifying. I was like, no, like I'm not hearing the Lord right now. I'm just stressing myself out. Like, I don't need to do this. It's not that important. Like, what's really gonna happen if I don't? Like, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And we leave the house, and I'm kind of like relieved but a little disappointed. And I'm like, God, if that was really you, then like, I mean, do something. I don't know, like not like testing God, but I was kind of like, maybe that really wasn't you, is more of what it was. Like, maybe I really did just get in my head about this. But then my mom was like, oh, we forgot something. And I was like, what do you mean? And so we had to turn around, like, and go back right away. And so something in me just really like had that confirmed, like, oh, the Lord really, really wants me to just pray for peace for this man who's about to pass away. And so I like kind of wake up because at this point I'm like a little groggy, but I'm awake now. The blood is pumping, and I still don't know like if I can do it. And we walk back into the house, and I make a more intentional point of just like being, hello, hi, how are you? And right before we leave, the way that I got around the obedience was, instead of praying with him in that moment, before we left, I said, hey, like, I'm praying for you. And that was all I did. And then we walked out of the house, we got back in the car, and we drove home. And again, like, I'm not much of a crier. I don't know if y'all would believe me, because when I make these, I feel like I get kind of teary-eyed, or I don't know. But I was so devastated. Like, to this day, I'm devastated that I didn't just do the simple thing of just pray for peace for that man who deserved so much peace and so much joy and is 1000% experiencing it right now in eternity. And like, no, he didn't need my prayer before he left this earth, but I did everything I could to evade what the Lord was telling me. And it was something so simple. And I guess what I've been learning since then is that obedience isn't about what I'm seeing right now. It's about what happens on the other side, that will only happen if I do the thing, if I say the thing, if I make the move that the Lord is telling me to make. And there's a level of wisdom there that I don't feel like I hear a lot of people talk about. I have not heard it really in many places. I can't really pinpoint. I mean, I'm sure at some point now I've been introduced to like just the thought that things go beyond me, right? And that sounds really simple, and it's not even, I don't think, a self-centered thought. It's just the concept of the things that we do have consequences, whether they're good consequences or bad consequences. And when you go through life, even if you're trying to be like quote unquote good, like good person, not do bad things, you're still ultimately making decisions all of the time that do have ripple effects. And what I think obedience is about is who's blessed on the other side. So for an example, say you're really just feeling drawn to start a business, or that's a good American example. So say you're like, oh, I really want to start this business, and you just never start it. You'll just never know. You'll literally just never know. Compared to if you did the thing, you would get to see all of the fruit on the other side, and see the lives that you get to touch, and the people that you get to help, the people that you get to serve. You don't get that experience if you just say like, oh, no, I'm good, and you keep rolling along. And so that might be a bit of a larger one. There's a million little examples like this. But the thing that really just shook me into perspective is like the little bit of discomfort I get, or the fear that I have, or the growing pains of like stepping into something that I know I'm supposed to do is so minimal compared to the people on the other side of that thing that needed that thing. And I think a lot of people with platforms that, share about various things, like that's a big motivator for like why they started, because I can't tell you how many people have inspired me that if they had never just pulled out their camera and pressed record and then uploaded it and published it, then there's so many just bits of wisdom and perspective and just things about life that I wouldn't know, that I would have never gotten to chew on. So many little places that I wouldn't have felt seen or known. And just like their obedience to say like, yes, I have this thing to share and I'm going to share it. It makes a world of difference, and you will probably never see most of the things that you touch in this life, and that's okay. It's just knowing like there really is so much beyond you. And not only that, but what makes you unique? Like, what are the things that drive you? What are the things that you uniquely have to offer? And so, I guess to give you an example, I tend to not really like the spotlight. I don't like it. Um, but pretty much my entire life, like ever since I opened my mouth, basically, and people figured out that I could sing notes and had like a bit of a loud, booming voice that carries across a room, like things I didn't ask for, but they're in here, and even still, like as I have taken a bit of a pause on music, um, and at least on performing live places, I cannot tell you how many people have like made a very serious point of coming up to me and being like, when's your next show? When are you doing another show? Go bless the world. Like, go share your voice. Go share your voice. Sing more. Sing every day. If I were you, I'd be singing every day, everywhere, all the time. Like, just the most insane comments from virtually strangers all of the time. And that happens to me really regularly. I'm like, guys, I don't know. And so, like, that's even something I'm kind of wrestling with right now, is like, what place does me singing hold in the grand scheme of my life? And, you know, if enough people have, you know, in so many random circumstances, poked me on the shoulder about it, I probably need to keep wrestling with it, right? But, like, my example is, like, that's something that people continuously point out in me as, like, something that they need or that other people need, that I'm like, oh, like, no, I'd rather, like, you know, fold chairs at the end of my church service and, you know, volunteer some manual labor for my friend who's moving and, you know, like, do all these things that are great, that there's not a problem with them. But if I kind of just give myself to lots of random things without giving myself to intentional things as well, that can be, how do I say, the reason that God gives people strengths, because, I mean, it's impossible to argue that we're all made exactly the same. All right, like, we can disagree on a lot of things. We cannot disagree on the fact that we are all very unique people. We all look different. We all sound different. Everything about us is different. And that's wonderful. And the reason that we are made in that sort of a way is there are unique groups of people that only we can speak to, that only we can reach, because certain unique parts of us align with other unique parts of other people. And so if I neglect to discover the things that the Lord has uniquely given to me or put inside of me that I'm passionate about, then I'm neglecting the people out there in the world that I could be intersecting with, that might need something that I have to offer that somebody else doesn't. And it's a strategic weapon against darkness. So if I neglect to invest in the things that the Lord has made me passionate about, in the things that He's given me that are unique to me, then it's a disobedience. It really is. And it's not always an outright one, but that's what it shakes up to be at the end of the day. And so if I'm not writing, if I'm not sharing, if I'm not singing, if I'm not doing these things that I've always just been affirmed in and drawn to, regardless of like the parts of me that don't want to go there, then I'm disobeying. And I think a lot of times we think about it in a much more black and white way, or just kind of like in a way that only really speaks to like the 10 Commandments and like sin. That's a whole video for another day. Not that's, I don't want anyone to think I'm saying sin isn't real, because it is, but the way that we frame sin, the theology around sin, I think is a bit messy. But I think that's really all we think of with obedience. It's like, oh, I didn't murder anybody today, I'm good. Oh, I didn't cheat on my spouse today, I'm good. Or like, oh, I didn't steal from anybody today, I'm good. Yeah, those are good things. Like, that to me, the bare bones of all things are the commandments, okay? Like, if you're talking like the bare minimum, it's the commandments, okay? Like, yes, we're supposed to like turn towards the Lord and away from things that pull us from Him, right? But when you kind of establish the basics, when you're like, yep, 10 Commandments, got them down, I know what's right, I know what's wrong, I'm an adult with a developed frontal lobe, like, we're good, like, we're, we're settled, that's when I think this layer starts to get pulled back. It's like, okay, so I know what it means to distinguish right and wrong just on a moral compass basis. And so now that I have that foundation, what's the next thing? Oh, I'm a whole unique person that has all of these different things about me. Some of them relate to this person or to this person. Some things about me challenge this person or this person. What do I do with all that? And I think a lot of times in like Christian culture, like cultural Christianity stuff, we tend to either overvalue or undervalue the individuality that we all have. And I think the right answer to individuality is like, ultimately, whatever little puzzle piece we are still fits into a puzzle. And the things that we have are supposed to sharpen each other. So I think it's important to sit with like, what just sets me on fire? And if nothing sets me on fire, why is that? Like, because at times in my life when I felt just kind of unmotivated or like, I don't really care about anything, that was not the truth. I was just hurting or running away from something or not just being honest with myself about a variety of things. And it wasn't like I could just sit down and be like, all right, I feel apathy, so what's really going on? And just magically know the answer. No. Again, there's layers there. Like, if you really don't know where to start, you probably need to start in community. And sometimes community is a really good therapist. Sometimes community is a little circle of friends that just feel safe, that you can actually talk to, that will be honest with you. I found those through college and then through my church community. So you want people that you would take advice from. Like, if you wouldn't switch places with them to any degree, do not take advice from them. All right, that's a good metric for you. And once you start figuring out, like, where are you in space? Like, am I grounded? Do I have people to lean on, turn to? Who am I? The answer to, like, who am I is what we get to use in community. It's this, like, inverse kind of bouncing back and forth off of relationship. I am only who I am because of who other people are, because of who other people have been to me. And yeah, I guess that's the general gist of what I'm trying to say. And again, I don't know that I talk about anything that's just like a simple, easy, like, and that's it, mic drop. Like, there's a lot of other ways that this conversation could go. So if anything I said was confusing or just like out there or unhelpful, or if you feel like I didn't really land the plane, please tell me. I love feedback. Again, this is not really like the thing that I do the best. I just feel like I'm supposed to do it, so I'm trying. But yeah, if you take anything away, it's that you are supposed to indeed steward the things that make you an individual, the specific gifts in your basket, the specific areas of life that you feel passionate about. And we are all supposed to feel passionate about something. What would childhood you just dream about? what kind of way did you like play with your toys or imagine the world, or activities did you find the most fun? Start there. Start with the people around you that you trust, and just pull back those layers, because the next level to obedience is not just like, oh, yeah, I didn't murder, steal, or kill today. It's okay, I didn't murder, steal, or kill, but also I was able to use my unique gifts to serve this person who needed to receive what I had to give. So yeah, if you're like on the growth path and you're looking to do more than just be like a human that exists in the world and kind of does okay, I hope this is encouraging to you. And if you're not there yet, totally cool too. We're all on our journeys, man. We're all just figuring it out. Life's hard. Okay. But yeah, that's all I have. All right, bye.